Welcome back to the Tunnel Walk Talk. I am your host, Emmett. Today we'll be going over the Minnesota postgame, the Northwestern preview, and my 3 keys to beating Northwestern. Let's first get into how we got to the 24-6 loss to Minnesota this past Friday night. In the first quarter, Minnesota starts off punts. Nebraska punts, Minnesota punts. Seems like they like punting in this game. Nebraska then leads a 12-play, 70-yard drive that ends in a 33-yard field goal to make it 3-0 Nebraska. Both scoring drives, they were in the red zone inside the 30-yard line. Start of the second quarter, Minnesota had a 4-play, 90-yard drive to make it a 7-3 ball game. Nebraska punts, Minnesota punts. And Nebraska's a 9-play, 69-yard drive that ends in a 30-yard field goal to make it 6-7. Minnesota punts. Nebraska takes it to halftime. In the third quarter, Nebraska punts. Minnesota then leads a 14-play, 98-yard touchdown drive to make it 14-6. Nebraska punts. Start of the fourth quarter, Minnesota has a 6-play, 62-yard bullshit touchdown that had a big missed holding call to make it 21-6. Nebraska punts. Then Minnesota leads an 8-play, 62-yard drive that ends in a 30-yard field goal to make it 24-6. Nebraska turns over on downs. Minnesota punts. Nebraska punts. Nebraska ends the game. They didn't punt. Let's go into player stats. I lied. We're going to go into team stats, then player stats. So, on first down, Nebraska had 13. They had 18. We were 3 for 11, or 27% on third down. They were 5 of 12, or 41%. Pretty significant difference, I guess. On fourth down, we were 0 for 1. They were 0 for 0. They didn't go for fourth down. Total yards, we had 213. They had 339. They kicked our ass. We were 17 of 25 in the air, 68% completion. They were 16 for 20, 80% completion. Yards per pass, 7.1. We had 7.1. They had 7.7. We had 177 yards passing. They had 153. We had 29 rushing attempts. They had 35. Yards per rush. We had 1.2. That's sack adjusted. We ended up with like 5.2, I think 5.4 or something like that, without the sack adjustments. They averaged 5.3. We ended up with 36 yards rushing. They ended up with 186 yards rushing. We were 6 for 65 on penalties. They were 3 for 30. We had 28 minutes and 1 second in time of possession. They had 31 minutes, 59 seconds. Minnesota player stats. Drake Lindsey, 16 for 20. 80%, 153 yards, average 7.7 yards per pass, 1 touchdown. Darius Taylor, 24 carries, 148 yards, 6.2 average, 1 touchdown, long run of 71. He also had 4 receptions for 16 yards, averaging 4 yards catch. Dame Boy had 8 carries for 34 yards, averaged 4.3 yards a carry, long of 14. The receivers, Jalen Smith, 3 receptions for 59 yards, averaged 19.7. Lamiki Brockington, 2 receptions for 32 yards, 16 average, 1 touchdown. Defensively, they had 16 total tackles, 35 solos, 9 sacks. We had 1. 10 TFLs. Nebraska player stats. Dylan was 17 for 25, 177 yards passing, average 7.1 yards per pass, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Emmett Johnson had 14 carries, 63 yards, average 4.5 yards a carry, no touchdowns, and 5 receptions for 37 yards, average 7.4 yards a carry. Isaiah Mosey had 2 carries for 7 yards, average 3.5 yards a carry, no touchdowns. Luke Lindenmeyer was our leading receiver this game. 4 receptions, 52 yards, average 13 yards a catch. No touchdowns. Quinn Clark was our second leading receiver. 1 reception, 43 yards, no touchdowns. Isaiah Hunter had 5 receptions for 40 yards, average 8 yards a catch, no touchdowns. Cortez Mills, 1 reception, 4 yards. Jacory Barney, 1 reception, 1 yard. Defensively, we had 68 total tackles, 32 solo, 1 sack, 3 TFLs. This game was arguably one of the worst performances Nebraska's had in the past couple of years, I'd say. The line gave up 9 total sacks. That is astonishing. They had 4 in the first half, 5 in the third quarter. 4 in the third quarter, 1 in the fourth, and the last play they rushed 2 guys. And still got home. Despite not having a sack in 2 weeks. They haven't sacked the last 2 teams they played. They played Purdue and Rutgers. You're telling me they couldn't get any pressure on them and we're letting them, like, Biden's border policy? Something needs to be fixed. Whether it's pulling everyone on the O-line and starting 5 new guys, I don't give a shit. Make some coaching changes. I'm not calling for any names yet, but making some coaching changes. Something needs to happen, or we are in major, major trouble the rest of the season. Let's get into the Northwestern preview. Nebraska Northwestern set for 11 a.m. kickoff on Fox Sports 1 from Memorial Stadiums. Both teams this season entered the contest 5-2. The spread on this game opened up as a 9.5 favorite after getting our asses handed to us against Minnesota. It has since then dropped to, I think, 6.5. Nebraska's still favorite. Northwestern's only losses come to Tulane, 34-14, and to Oregon. They got their ass kicked by Oregon. I didn't even put the... I think it was like 34-14 or something like that. No, it was, 34-14. I did write it down. I expect this line to drop some more. I don't expect it to stay at 6. I expect it to go down to probably 3.5 or even 2. Let's get into some stats. Preston Stone, he's a senior, 6'1", 215 pounds. SMU transferred in this year. This year, he has 111 completions on 187 attempts, 59% completion, 1,213 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He is interception prone. We need to make them throw the ball. We need to stop the run. He also has 31 carries for 15 yards, averaging half a yard a carry. Caleb Kamalafe, I think is how you say his last name. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 210 pounds. Has 107 carries on the year for 483 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. The other running back they use is Joseph Hilton. The second, he's a junior, 5'9", 190 pounds. 73 carries for 360 yards, no touchdowns, averaging 4.9 yards a carry. The one and only wide receiver they seem to use. I have all their wide receivers listed here, but it seems like they use this guy a lot. He's a junior, 6'2", 200 pounds. He has 36 receptions for 516 yards 4 touchdowns, averages 14 yards a catch. The other receivers and tight end they use, Hayden Elgin, the second, sophomore, 6'4", 210 pounds, 11 receptions for 158 yards. 2 touchdowns, 14 yards a catch. Hunter Welsings, I think is how you say his last name. He's a tight end, 6'3", 250 pounds. He's a senior. He has 12 receptions for 127 yards. 2 touchdowns, averages 10.6 yards a catch. Drew Wagner, the other receiver. They got a bunch of white dudes at receiver. Sophomore, 5'10", 185 pounds. 14 receptions for 118 yards. 2 touchdowns for 8.4 yards a catch. Defensively, the only 2 standout guys are Robert Fitzgerald. He's a junior. He's 6 foot, 210 pounds. Has 36 solo tackles, 24 assists, 60 total, 1 fumble recovery. Mac Uwalen, I'm guessing that's how you say his last name. He's a senior, 6'1". He's a linebacker, 230 pounds, 33 solo, 18 assists, 51 total, 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. Those 2 guys amount to almost half of their tackles. Half of the solo tackles. The rest of the Wildcat defense, including those 2, they have 210 solos, 200 assisted tackles, 410 total tackles. They have 11 sacks on the year, 4 interceptions. 3 of them came from Mac. 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. Nebraska season stats. Dylan Raiola, 155 for 218, 72% completion, 1,768 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Emmett Johnson is now the leading rusher in the Big Ten. He has 119 carries for 713 yards. Averages 6 yards a carry, has 7 touchdowns, also has 29 receiving receptions for 167 yards, 1 touchdown, averages 5.8 yards a catch. And Isaiah Hunter is our leading receiver. 27 receptions for 455 yards, 16.9 average, 4 touchdowns. Ja'Cory Barney, despite not having a good week the last couple weeks, he has 27 receptions for 455 yards, 16.9 average, 4 touchdowns. Dane Key has had a good week the last couple weeks. He has 20 receptions for 269 yards, averages 13 yards a catch, has 4 touchdowns on the year. Luke Lindenmeyer, 23 receptions, 248 yards, 10.8 average per catch, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, we have 224 solos, 188 assists, 412 total tackles. We also have 12 sacks on the year, 3 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries. Now, team stats. Points per game, we have 30. They have 36. We have 36 points per game. They have 22. Third down is with 36 for 80, 45%. They are 45 of 97 on third down, 46%. Not a big difference. Not very good on third down still. Fourth down, we are 4 for 12, 33%. They're 8 for 13, they're 61%. They're significantly better on going for it on fourth down. Yards per pass, we average 8.9 yards per pass. They only average 6.4. Passing yards per game, we have 291 passing yards per game on average. They have 174. Pass yards per sacks, we've allowed 25. They've only allowed 10. Rush attempts. Rushing per attempt. We average 3.8 yards a carry. They average 4.8 yards a carry. Rushing yards a game. We average 125 yards a game. They average 190. Total yards per game. We average 416. They average 364. Penalties on the year were 30. We have 34 penalties for 310 yards. They have 27 penalties for 199 yards. We are a +3 in turnover ratio. They are a -4 in turnover ratio. My final thoughts on this game. This game should be a pretty simple game to win. Despite only being a 6.5 points favorite, I expect that line to drop some more. No less than 3. If we take away Griffin Wild, I think we'll be set up to win this game pretty easily if we can stop the run. That's the key, stopping the run. They have a few good running backs that they can use and dispose of. Cam Porter's one of the running backs. I don't know if he's healthy. He hasn't played much this year. If we don't let them run the ball, we will blow them out. 3 keys to the game. Keep Dylan upright. We can't be allowing more than a sack or 2 a game. Simply all I put. Number 2, get Dylan out. Get outside going, the outside zone game going for EJ. We'll have a good game running if he's not running up the middle every single play. We're too predictable. Number 3, simply stop the run. We can't keep letting running backs run all over us, especially ones averaging less than 4.5 yards per carry. Now, all in all, I think the Huskers get the win at home 30-21. This offense should bounce back from a very, very poor performance last week and make a statement game. My games around the country this week. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. OU's favored 4.5. I think Ole Miss is going to win that game. That is a top 25 matchup. Missouri at Vandy. I don't care that Vandy's the number 10 team in the nation. They're not good. Vandy's favored 2.5 at home. Missouri's going to win that pretty well outright. Number 11, BYU at Iowa State. Iowa State's favored 2.5. I think there is a fine quarterback wearing number 47. I think BYU walks into Iowa State and blows them out. I think BYU wins outright. Number 23, Illinois at Washington. Washington's favored 4.5. I am taking Washington on the technical upset. Baylor at number 21, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored -5.5. Cincy will probably win this outright. Number 22, Texas at Mississippi State. Texas is favored 6.5. That is way too much for a really bad Texas team this year. I think Mississippi State wins that pretty easily. And then my game of the week is number 3, Texas A&M at number 20, LSU. Texas A&M is favored 2.5 on the road. I think Texas wins outright. Remember to like and subscribe. Share with all your friends. Go Big Red.